Shadowbringers brought us two new jobs, the Dancer and the Gunbreaker, while reworking some of the other jobs. Machinist got heavily reworked, but I've been playing it since the release of Heaven's Ward, dropped it in early Stormblood due to its clunkiness and extremely unforgiving nature with procs. In Stormblood I picked up two new main jobs, Summoner and Warrior. Summoner taught me about cooldown and resource management, and Warrior taught me about priority systems and resource management, so why am I telling you all about this? Because to me, Dancer feels like a combination of those aspects from previous jobs. I have to manage really strong cooldowns and fit them into certain windows. I have to manage my resources to fit into my window as well, and make sure that I don't overcap. And of course, I'm used to the bingo system that is prog-based gameplay, so in other words, I was set to be a Dancer from the outset. Now that I'm level 80 on it, I'd like to share my thoughts on Dancer. My name is Fable, and I'm a dancing bunny now. She's so cute, I love her, please protect her smile. Initially, like many others, the rotation for Dancer felt a bit convoluted upon the reveal of details. While many people zeroed in on technical and standard finish being high in potency, I was actually far more worried if we'd actually have another Machinist RNG extravaganza job on our hands. And now in hindsight, I can say both yes and kinda no. But first, let me explain the essentials of Dancer for those who are new to the class or, want to learn what the details and the rotation is like. You have two steps, Technical and Standard. Standard has 30 seconds of cooldown, while Technical is on 2 minutes. Getting all the steps means Standard does 1000 potency and gives 5% damage increase to just you and your partner for 60 seconds, while Technical does 1500 potency and gives you 5% damage increase to all party members for 20 seconds. This can hit for some massive amounts of damage. Follow me on Twitter @FabledWaste to occasionally see me gush about those numbers. Anyway, those affected by the damage increases or the party members in range of either standard and technical finish also get granted Esprit for the amount of time that they have left on their buff, meaning every weapon skill or spellcast, not abilities or off-global cooldown skills, have a chance to grant you Esprit. Keep in mind, those affected by technical finish only do so for 20 seconds, while you and your dance partner are able to do so for 60 seconds with standard step. Since you want to use standard step whenever it's up, so like every 30 seconds, you basically keep that buff up the whole time. And it's important to note that you too grant yourself Esprit under this effect. Esprit can only be used for Saber Dance, a global cooldown that has no interaction with your other abilities. It does 600 potency to the first enemy it hits and 300 to the remaining for 50 Esprit. Aside from fourfold feathers being granted by procs in both rotations, the single target and AoE do not interact with each other, and procs on one do not negate the other, which is important to remember for later. So getting a full combo in your AoE rotation does not consume the actual single target rotation's procs. Every time I've had to explain the combo rotation, I've always said that the rotation is basically 1, 2A, 2B, 3. So the complications were gone extremely quickly when it came to the combo rotation. The 2A and 2B portion are because the 1, Cascade, can trigger Reverse Cascade, which in this case is the 2A. Reverse Cascade does not interact with the rest of the combo, but does have a high chance of giving us a fourfold feather. So high, it actually is the same amount as all the other ones, so I don't know why I said high. Cascade will always go into Fountain to the 2B portion, and the Fountain has a chance of proccing our main combo finisher, Fountain Fall. Some people get kinda confused now where the Fan Dance comes in, and that's actually something I want to make clear right now. Fan Dance 1 works only on single target and will lead into Fan Dance 3, which is always AoE. Fan Dance 2 is best used on groups of enemies and always leads into Fan Dance 3. So Fan Dance 1 and 2 don't interact with each other, but both lead into Fan Dance 3. Fan Dances are meant to be used in between GCDs, so your main combo inputs or after Saber Dance, which we mentioned earlier. As for the AoE rotations, we literally just plop over the icons and it's the same deal. Alright, we got the essentials out of the way, now let's talk about my thoughts. Dancer, even before hitting level 80, feels wonderful to play and super flexible. You never really feel screwed out of your combo if you don't get Fountain, since you always have the 1-2s. And there's a chance of proccing multiple abilities, which means the fluidness of the class is off the charts, and is more about proc priority and situation reading rather than the simple art of getting your finishers all the time. What's nice is that if you decide to use standard or technical step in the middle of your combo, your procs are not immediately consumed. Although they can expire, but I don't think anyone's going to take that long since the procs last for about 20 seconds apiece. Having a Dancer in your party means you're essentially granting one party member 5% extra damage for the whole fight, and 5% extra damage every 2 minutes. Yeah, standard step's damage boost does last for 60 seconds, but the cooldown comes up every 30 seconds. And since it goes on cooldown the moment you start the step process, you're essentially refreshing it every 28 or 27 seconds. Now there's one misconception people have. People think that when you do standard step, you should immediately switch dance partners so you can give another party member 5% damage increase as well. The answer to this is no, you can't. The moment you have a buff going on a party member and you remove them as your dance partner, both the buff on you and them disappears. And while I haven't tried it with technical step, I think it's the same case there. Though I don't know why you'd feel the need to switch partners specifically after a party-wide buff, but I digress. As it stands right now, Dancer is set to deal the lowest amount of total damage out of all the DPS classes. But don't underestimate its burst potential. Technical finish alone can deal up to 94,861 damage on critical direct hit. And that's not even with good cure or melts. So I'm pretty sure with some luck I can hit 100k at one point. Combine this with the Flourish ability and Stored Feathers, you essentially become a never-ending windmill that a crap ton of damage can be dished out from, with downtime afterwards. Fans feel extremely rewarding, and especially when you get the proc for Fan Dance 3. And can I just say that whoever designed Enavant, please know you have a big hug waiting for me. Enavant is easily the most fun ability to use in the game ever, and I'm not exaggerating. Using Enavant is like breathing to me now. I use it in combat, out of combat, while going between quests, while simply idling somewhere. I'm pretty sure I use Enavant in my sleep now. Literally nothing has to happen, and I will just use that as a cue to use Enavant. But it does nothing. It's a short dash that's faster than sprinting the same distance. And it might save you from being in an AoE once or twice, but other than that, that's really it. But it's so goddamn fun, I just can't. There are only two abilities and aspects I feel about Dancer that are off. First up, Saber Dance is kind of a flow-breaking action to me. So much so that I tend to not use it until I have a Fan Dance ready to be cast right after it. Otherwise I feel like I'm gimping myself. 600 damage is nice and good, but has zero interaction with the rest of Dancer's combos, and it feels a little jarring to use since you'd just be, staying between 50 and 100 Esprit most of the time. But after using Tech Finish and 8 people begin generating Esprit for me, at times it feels like I barely have room to do my main combo. Secondly, Improvisation is our level 80 skill and the final one that we learn, but it just feels somewhat useless at times. Improvisation is a channeled ability, which means that if we move or do anything else, we stop it. It generates Esprit based on the amount of party members that we do have and gives a 10% healing increased, but it cancels auto attacks and the effect ends upon movement, turning, or even using another ability. I rarely use this, only during seriously clutch moments for healing. I could see myself using this after a DPS check in like FFXIV 3 Savage against Omega or something, or during the phase transitions to build up Esprit, or really clutch healing moments like I said before. But aside from that, it feels really bad to use. The Esprit we gain isn't a lot on a quick tick, but we literally cannot do anything else while we use it since it's a channel ability, and the healing bonus it gives isn't great either. Overall, this is more of a useless mantra in my eyes since mantra doesn't stop us from playing our job. And any ability that makes us stop playing our job in my eyes is a bad ability. I kind of feel that this could be reworked into doing a little bit of potency while we do it, but I feel like that might be a little bit too much to ask. Maybe if we could move during improvisation, that would be a better use for it, but right now I feel like improvisation is sort of a flow breaker, and that's exactly what I would not like on a very flow placed class. I am not redoing that take. I am not. Thanks for watching. My name is Fable, and if you like what you saw, subscribe and like. All that good stuff, Overall, Dancer is extremely fun to play, and even with its two downsides, this doesn't stop Dancer from being one of the most fun classes I've played in Final Fantasy XIV. It takes elements from a lot of classes. It takes the procs from Machinist, proc management in a way from Red Mage, cooldown and resource management from Summoner, and overall this means a priority system much like Warrior. But what none of these classes have that Dancer offers is irreplaceable buffs and unrivaled team support. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.